Saint George. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a brave and faithful man named Saint George. He was born in a place called Cappadocia to his parents, Anastasius and Theobaste. Saint George was a righteous man who loved God and his fellow people very much. When Saint George was 20 years old, his father passed away, and he went to Emperor Diocletian to take over his father's position. But when he arrived, he learned that the emperor had turned against the Christians and ordered everyone to worship idols. Saint George was deeply saddened by this, and he decided to give away all his wealth to the poor and free his slaves. Saint George was a brave and outspoken man. When he saw the emperor's edict against the Christians, he couldn't bear it. He tore the edict in anger and spoke out against the injustice. He told the emperor that he should not force people to worship false gods and deny the one true God. Despite the emperor's threats and promises of rewards, Saint George remained steadfast in his faith. He was tortured, but he stayed strong with the help of the Lord. The emperor even tried to poison him, but the poison had no effect because of Saint George's faith. In one incredible moment, the emperor asked Saint George to perform miracles to prove his faith. Saint George prayed to the Lord, and chairs turned into trees bearing fruit. He even raised the dead, and a blind, deaf, and dumb boy was healed. The empress, who was the emperor's daughter, was touched by Saint George's words and actions. She believed in the Lord Christ because of his teachings and miracles. But when the emperor found out, he was furious and ordered the empress to be martyred. Despite all the torture and hardships, Saint George never gave up his faith. He boldly proclaimed the name of the Lord Christ in front of the emperor and his idols. His faith was so strong that the earth opened up and swallowed all the idols. In the end, the emperor couldn't stand the humiliation and ordered Saint George to be beheaded. Saint George bravely accepted his fate and received the crown of martyrdom. But even in death, his story didn't end. A Christian took Saint George's body and buried it in a beautiful place called ⲓⲇⲇ. They built a grand church in his name there to honor his memory and his strong faith in God. The story of Saint George teaches us many important lessons. We learn to be brave and stand up for what is right, even when it's difficult. Saint George's unwavering faith and love for God remind us to always trust in the Lord and to stay true to our beliefs. Saint George's kindness and compassion, shown through his charity and care for others, teach us the value of helping those in need and being generous with what we have. We also learn that miracles can happen through faith and prayer. Lastly, Saint George's story shows us the importance of respecting others' beliefs and not forcing our own on them. It reminds us to be understanding and open-hearted, just like Saint George when he spoke to the empress and shared the teachings of the Lord Christ. Let us remember the bravery and faith of Saint George and strive to be like him in our own lives, courageous, compassionate, and devoted to God. See you again soon. Subscribe, like and share.